Kal Lao Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rakachadash. All praise, honor, and glory go to the Most High Yahawah, the name of His Son Yahawashi. And I'm back to you with another one. I'm not gonna make this too long. I just wanted to touch bases on this scripture here. Came across it while I was doing some studying, and the Lord has His men out there doing the work, and also on the videos and sit downs. They're doing things that the priests, the Levites, were doing back in the days of King David, even before and after. And the men of the Lord, they come in different how can I say it, arenas when it comes to bringing out this truth. You have some doing focused on one thing, some focused on another, some focused on another, and it's all through the strength and power of Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi. Spirit is on the men, and whatever gift or whatever talent He has given you to speak upon, that's what you go out there and do. That's what when you do your video, that's what He has your focus on. And none of us choose these things, but in this scripture right here, it kind of gives you a understanding on how it's basically broken down into three different areas that the Lord has set up His men to focus on. And we're gonna do some reading. We're gonna look at some definitions, and I'm praying it's edifying to someone out there. This is 2 Chronicles 23:4. It says, "This is what you must do when you priests and Levites come on duty on the Shabbat." So we understand now that the priests and the Levites, they were the servants of the Most High Yahawah. They were the ones doing all the spiritual dirty work and also some physical dirty work, because they had to prepare a lot of things, and they had to be the ones that, as the face of the Most High Yahawah. So they had to deal with a lot of different issues and situations in Yasharala, Israel. People had a problem. They normally came to the priest, help them understand things and help them to get some guidance. They had some kind of thing against their brother. If they had any kind of beef with one another, they would come to the priest. The priest would solve everything. Through the power and strength of Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi. And it's going to give you three different, in the scriptures, as I continue to read, it says, "A third of you will serve as gatekeepers." So we have some that will serve as gatekeepers. And you look up that word gatekeepers, it's the Hebrew word H7778, which is the word sha'ar, and it says a gatekeeper, a porter. So pretty much a person who stands at the door. You go deeper into the word, is H8179, which is the word sha'ar, and it says a gate, heaven. 8176, go deeper into the word, it's the word sha'ar again, and it says to split open, reason out, calculate, reckon, estimate. So you had some that were there to help estimate the times, tell the people which way to go. Gatekeepers, you got to ask them to go through. Going back, verse 5, another third will go over to the royal palace. And you look up the royal palace, Slakia, it says the king's house. So it's H4428, which we know is the word malak. It says king, but when you go deeper into the words, H4427, which is malak as well. And it says to become king, to make one king. You go down further, it says to counsel, to advise, to consider. So these are the ones that are making, decisions on behalf of the Lord for the people. They're the council. So you have the doorkeeper, the ones you go to, to let you in and, estimate, calculate things. And you have the ones that consider and they bring the counsel. Going back, it says, going back to verse 5, and the final third will be at the foundation gate. And when you go to foundation gate, we know what gate means already. The word foundation is yasad, yasad, and it says foundation, the base, the bottom. Those that, breaking down all the basics of this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that we attain, the foundation to establish, fix, seek themselves to be founded. So when we're watching these videos and we're watching the brothers on the street corners, whether you have the opportunity to go out there yourself and see them, or you see them on the videos doing the videos, you'll see a common denominator between everyone that does it. You'll see those that are really focused on the basics and trying to help people understand the history of this of our heritage, and then we'll have those that passing out judgment. The gatekeepers, the watchmen, the ones at the door. Telling you what you should do to get through the gate, and then we have those that provide counsel and advice. It could be with how you live, how you eat, how you move around. Verse 6 says, "Remember only the priest and Levites on duty may enter the temple of Yahawah." So we find those that sometimes, here and there do the work. I'm talking about those other camps, those other, truthers or Israelites, or, knowing they're Israelites, or, the GOCCs, or, whatever, right? They don't stand on duty all the time. Only the men of the Lord. I've done my research. You ain't got to believe me, do your own research. But if you just go back and check to see who's constantly pushing out this living water, it is the men of Great Millstone. And they stay on duty at all times. Now, their affiliates also do so as well. They have affiliates that may not be under the banner of Great Millstone, but they still teach the same teachings. You'll find some out there like that as well. But they're always on duty. And it says right here that they're the only ones that are able to enter the temple of the Lord to do what? For they are set apart as holy, because they're set apart as holy. The rest of the people must obey Yahawah's instructions and stay outside. You see? And that's the point I want to get to, because, you can't just think that, you're a prophet, or, you, like I said, even myself, I consider myself just help. The prophecies have already been laid out there. The prophecies are there. I'm just, through my studying, through my research, through the Spirit, I'm allowing myself to be instructed. And since I can break these down according to what the scripture is saying, to the understanding I got, I'll be a fool to keep it inside of me. I pretty much, would be condemning myself. So I have to bring it out. But as far as, me bringing out something new, it's already out there. I'm not bringing out anything new. So that's the same. That's why I call myself help. But the men of the Lord, they'll find new things. They'll find how to connect the old with the new at all times. And we just have to, be the ones that obey Yahawah's instructions in these last days. Salakia for that. And it's been going crazy since the Dodgers run, man. It's been, part of LA that, it's a lot of Issachar, so they love the Dodgers. So it's been going on since all last night. But at the end of the day, only the men of the Lord may enter into the temple of the Lord. The rest of everyone else wants to stay outside and learn, take the instructions. And, if the Spirit's working with you, you're the holy elect, you're not going to be troubled by that. You understand that there's always an order, there's always a way of things the Lord has presented it should go. And you're going to be humble to that, and you're going to respect it, and you're going to honor it. And that alone, just following the Lord's instructions, because obedience is better than sacrifice, brings glory to Yahawah B'Hashem Yahawashi. So I just wanted to bring it out this morning. Hope it's edifying to someone out there. With that, just want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah B'Hashem Yahawashi, B'Hashem Rakach Chadash. Double honors to all the apostles, elders, teachers, preachers, priests, bishops that came before me, taught me this truth through the videos, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And Shalawam, peace be to you, to the holy elect, which I'll pray I'm on the number up to next time, Yahawah willing.